Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing? It's good to see you. I see we've got well over 600 people watching, and it's climbing by the second. So please make sure you've hit the like button because it helps not just the channel to grow, but also to fight the algorithm. This is a very, very special occasion and a very special guest. So as you guys have been seeing in the news, just a few days ago, the United States and Russia carried out what is known as a prisoner swap or a prisoner exchange. And basically, the Russians gave the Americans Trevor Reed, who's a former Marine and a U.S. citizen. And the Americans gave Russia a Russian citizen, a Russian pilot by the name of Konstantin Yaroshenko. And he is with me here. This is his first interview after being released from prison. And just to give you a brief, very, very brief overview of his case, and we're going to dive into this in very great detail now. He was basically rendered, which is a very nice way of saying kidnapped. He was kidnapped, basically, from Liberia in 2010 and taken to the United States by DEA agents. He was essentially set up, framed, and they slapped him with 20 years, a 20-year sentence. So do the math, 2010 until 2022, he's basically spent almost 12 years in prison. And, you know, as one of the only journalists who's covering the Assange case, this is, again, one of those moments where no matter how you look at the case, every single way you look at it, there's something really, really fishy and something, you know, very, very bad. So we're going to go through all the documents, and I'm going to let Konstantin tell his side of the story, which we haven't heard until now. And with that said, Konstantin, how are you? Thanks for coming on the program. It's good to have you here.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. First, I want to tell you, my English is up to till now is not so perfect. It's not so good because I learned only English with in the prisons. It's helped me. My very good friend David Mendoza is my very good friend. He's teach me in this language so yes, but you must understand my English is not so perfect. Now I feel very, very good because I'm in my motherland. Is more important. I with my family. I with my daughter. With my wife. With my people. This is for me more important. Right. And only I feel bad about my mother because she's fighting about it to return me back for the end, and she's passed away. This was his consequences because if I was here, she's still alive, but United States has killed her. The United States government. Only this is, but another. I so happy. I'm in the Russian Federations with my people who support me. This is many years fighting about me to return me back. And support from all around the Russian Federation, all Russian people is now happy I'm home too.
Yeah, again, I'm very, very sorry to hear about your mother, but at the same time, it feels good to be back home with your family, right? You've been 12 years apart from them. That's correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, and I just so people know, while I was covering the Assange case, one of the cases that Julian Assange's lawyers cited in court is that of David Mendoza, because David Mendoza was also taken to the U.S. He was extradited from Spain to the U.S. And the United States gave Spain promises at the time, not just assurances, but a written contract, which they broke. And this is very important because the United States are now giving assurances to Assange, to the United Kingdom. And this is, when you look at Mendoza's case, you know that you cannot trust the United States. And it just so happens that Konstantin and David Mendoza were cellmates for 4.5 years, if I'm not mistaken. Mendoza is also with us here. How are you, David?
I'm good, Richard. How are you? Konstantin, how are you?
How are you? How are you, Dave? How are you, brother?
Good. It's nice to see you home. It's nice to see you outside of that orange jumpsuit, huh?
Yeah.
Nice. How are things going, Richard?
I'm okay. It's really heartwarming to see you guys hit it off again. I would say, you know, it's very heartwarming, and from both of your accounts, that time that you spent together, you're basically, you know, like brothers now, or better than brothers, right?
Yeah. We've you haven't experienced it, and hopefully you'll never experience it. But when you go to a federal prison, and you live with somebody, you get to learn who that person is. You get to learn the insides and outsides of that individual, the honesty or dishonesty. I was very, very, very fortunate to meet this gentleman, and we became very good friends. We're brothers. We're brothers. In fact, he's more of a brother than my personal brother, quite frankly. But we've become very, very, very close to each other. I helped him extensively on his case. There wasn't a day I didn't spend in that law library. But his case is a very interesting case. I think people should understand it.
It surely is, and I often joke to David that I trust him more than I would trust a lawyer, because he seems to know what he's doing, and that's proven by the fact that you sued Obama's Attorney General Eric Holder, and you sued Spain in the Supreme Court twice and won twice. I don't know anybody who's done that, and I think I'm really grateful that you brought Konstantin's case to my attention, because I also want to go through this right now and try to help the world and help the viewers understand how crazy this is. I mean, this is really something heavy, and I think the first thing that we should maybe establish is that Konstantin, you were not extradited to the United States. You were rendered, correct? Like, this is basically a nice way of saying you were kidnapped.
No, this is not me. This is correctly. I was kidnapped. Because arrest means something official procedure in the justice system. If you're a policeman or your DEA says something, arrest must be known. Who arrest you? What's happening? I do pure kidnapping. Kidnapping. It's a straight. It's not discussable. It's the fact.
And something that really stuck out to me is that when you were taken to the United States, one thing, for example, is that the Liberian government, they issued an expulsion order. So they basically said they're expelling you from the country. But the thing is, when you want to do that in Liberia, there's an entire legal process, and I'm going to try and put that up on the screen right now, where basically you cannot just kick someone out of the country. You have to go through what is a special hearing, right? So there has to be a record. The alien, so the person being kicked out, they have to come and they can present evidence. So they didn't do any of this with you. They basically just rubber stamped the document and just sent you with the Americans, right? So when I'm looking at this, to me, this looks like the Americans put pressure on the Liberian government just to get this paper.
Richard,
because in the beginning, Liberia, I don't know right now, but in the beginning is American puppets. It's a fact. It's no puppets.
Let me interrupt here for a moment. So I submitted or assisted Konstantin to submit a motion to federal court. One very important point that people don't, it wasn't expressed in the news and in the media, is Liberia has an extradition treaty with the United States.
Right.
Why did they not? Why did not the United States, if they wanted Konstantin Yaroshenko, go through what's called his due process right and extradite him, just like they're doing with Julian Assange, or as they did with me? Why didn't they go through that process? Why did they kidnap him? And when you talk about the expulsion, that expulsion under Liberian law, you cannot expel somebody to a third country if you know the nationality of the individual. Mm-hmm. And the nationality of Konstantin Yaroshenko is Russian. They had his Russian passport. They knew he was Russian. They are obligated to expel him to Russia. Right. And he's supposed to have, on top of that, he's supposed to have what's called a hearing in front of a judge. Never occurred. None of this ever occurred. They threw him on a plane. They didn't give a damn about any of it. And they brought him to the United States. And I've said this to you before. If the shoe was on the other foot, meaning the Russians were to do something to an American, a U.S. citizen in that same nature, can you imagine the hysteria that would be all over the news about that?
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think you make a very good point. Basically, they should have sent Konstantin either to Russia, where he's a citizen, or asked him, because it says that you're supposed to ask the alien, the person in question, where they want to go, and then Liberia will ask that government. This never happened. This entire process did not happen. So
and the extradition treaty was never utilized. Why wasn't that utilized?
Right.
There's a question there. Why wasn't that utilized? I mean, if you're so held upon running justice and running law and international treaties, not international norms that sit to your convenience, but international law that everybody's to follow, why didn't you, as the United States government and Department of Justice, request his extradition?
Yeah.
Simple. He would have been sitting in prison there, and that's a process. Just as Julian Assange has gone through, as I went through. Why didn't they do that with Konstantin Yaroshenko?
Yeah. And Konstantin, can we perhaps talk about the conditions of this kidnapping? Because they didn't just lure you with some candy, for lack of a better analogy. They placed a hood on your head. They took you into a van, I believe it was, or it was a Nissan in any case, the make of the car.
Yeah, Nissan Tirano. I remember right now. I remember normally everything. Nissan Tirano is like a cherry colors. It's like in the Western movie, it's something like it's like a Hollywood movie, exactly the same. I staying outside the Royal Hotel, come to team, hat on the head, taking this van, and go home to the NSA headquarters. Yeah.
Right, and they tortured you, very, very simply put, because I've read what happened. I mean, just if I can please read from the document here, you recount what happened. They again, as we said, they put you in the car, and then they said, as soon as I entered the room, the guards took away my bag and started punching me in the stomach and the neck. The DEA agent, known as CS, was standing there watching while smoking his cigarette and drinking what I believe to be alcohol. The guards took away my Russian Orthodox icons, swore and threw them in the garbage. They commanded me to take off all my clothes. They put shackles and handcuffs on me and tied them very hard, instantly putting me in pain and severely restricting my blood circulation. And then you say that from the first moment you were trying to tell them that you're a foreign national, you were asking for permission to contact your family or the Russian consulate. And every time you spoke, quote, they punched me, kicked me, and hit me with the rubber truncheon in the stomach, head, genitals, and legs. It goes on. They said they threatened to kill your family, your wife and your child, and then they kept you in this room with no windows, and you saw metal hooks, bats, ropes. I mean, this is really something out of a horror movie.
It's like a scary movie. Trust me. If you see this room, I remember this room very, very well. I many times in this time, I don't want to return back to remind this time. It's so hard. Many times I wake up, I want to dead, and I still alive. It's so difficult this time for me. Psychically, physically, it's so painful. And in the later, I finding I was in the United States, my leg is so painful, and I finding he's broke my bones in the right legs. I found the X-ray. Doctor tell me you have 5 millimeters up to till now. Where I was my broken the bones. I remember only this time where it's so difficult for me psychically, and all pain, all my body pain. I don't attention for the one part of my body. This is very, very inhumane, but be professionally. I'm still alive. She's new. I must be dead. She see me. Do you want to see my eyes? I remember one white guy come to me, American guy. He's come to me. He's seen you. I must be dead. I must be still alive. But this time is very, very tough. This is exactly talking. What is was and what right now United States is a pure what his face, evil face, evil.
Yeah, I read that somebody kept checking on you to basically make sure you're still alive so you can still be tortured. Did I understand that correctly?
Yeah.
It's how long did this go on for? Because you say that you were basically unconscious. You don't know.
I was kidnapping in the 28th of May, then 28, 29, and half of the 30 of the May. Then take me this of NSA headquarters where his was. U.S. government have secret torture room, and in the Liberia. then take me from this secret spot, going straight to airport, going to the aircraft. I remember DC-8 American Air Company, American government contractors, ATI American Transport International, DC-8 registered, if I don't forget, November 799 or 977, something like this. And straight from the Monrovia through the military base, something in the New York State, United States, in the New York State, somewhere. Yeah. And from here, we are landing in the 30 and bring me from the military base straight to the hall. It's like we call it SHU, but it's like a pure hall in the MCC Manhattan. And I stay in the hall another two days, something like this. Then another same agents come to me. And I forget, in the military base, I was still beaten by the agents, Stau, Choropaski, some others. I remember this all evil people. And in the first or second, only bring me to the court, and in the court I was official arrest. Yes, what I do between 28th and 1st of June, where I was, just by the justice word, nobody knew and nobody expect up to till now.
Yep.
Let me suggest something also too here, Richard, for your audience. What Konstantin says is what Konstantin says. What the Americans or the United States agents say, or they deny what he's saying. Well, you may not believe Konstantin, that's fine. And you may believe the United States agents. And those, each one has their own position, but there's some independent collaboration of this torture.
Right.
There's testimony to this, independent, that people who have absolutely no interest in Konstantin Yaroshenko or in the United States, and who witnessed the torturing, who were participant to the kidnapping. And those were people who were working at that hotel.
Right. So those are the documents that I wanted to show. That I was quite surprised because it's not often that you have so much corroborating evidence. So I'm not going to show the names and photographs of the people.
Yeah, please don't show the snaps of this guy.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, I can see that they have their signature and their photo ID. So these are real people, and this is sworn testimony. 5 people who all said they saw the kidnapping or participated in it. So I think the majority of them were working in the hotel. These are hotel workers, and you were kidnapped at the Royal Hotel in Monrovia. And I'm going to read you one of it, again, without showing any of the identifying information. This is just the quote over here on the screen. So it says, statement concerning Mr. Yaroshenko. I have worked at Royal Hotel in Monrovia as a security officer for 7 years. And on May 28th, 2010, Americans came and gave me and my assistant $20 and told us to leave for 15 minutes. I witnessed the NSA agents come and take Mr. Yaroshenko from the parking lot. A bag was placed over the head of Mr. Yaroshenko, and he was beaten and put into a vehicle and taken away. And I just want to say one thing, because when people hear NSA, they might be thinking of the American National Security Agency, but Liberia have their own, and they were working with the United States. So it's basically a collaborative effort, So this is just one of the testimonies. There are many others who corroborate the same thing. They were at the hotel. They saw you being kidnapped. They saw you being beaten and the bag over your head. And this is very rare that you have so much corroborating evidence, but it's right there.
That's correct. That's correct.
And only see your very, very, very small part what you have it. I have lots of documents, lots. But what I was my swap in the 4 days ago, U.S. government don't give me take not one paper, no
really?
One. If you see in the where I was swap, I have very, very small bag. If you see video where I was swap, that's it, no more. Because he's the one that I must be showed all the world proof what is really U.S. government is and was.
Yeah, it's really harrowing, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the case itself because basically they sentenced you to 20 years, and they said that you were conspiring to import $100 million worth of cocaine to the United States. Now, just to be very clear, you have never been to the United States prior to this kidnapping and this arrest, right?
Yes, this is right.
Okay, so you've never been to the U.S., and at the time you didn't even speak English, right?
It's very, 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 very pure. Very, very pure. I speak English, but now a little bit you understand. And up until now, I don't speak correctly English, but I speak 12 years in the jail, learning English in the jail. This my friend, he's helping to learning English, but
Yep.
I never been United States. I never been all American. It don't matter. It's from the Canada up to the Chile. I never been in the United States, in America. But then more for me, United States. I'm Soviet Union guy. I'm a Russian guy. I patriot my country. For me, all the time, America is like an enemy, you know. And what I can do in this overseas, and I understand, Mary. Maybe 5-10% what his agent DA talk, what I see represent in the room.
Yeah.
I speak not only speak English, plus speak Spanish language too. What
Okay.
I don't speak at all, at all. If I English understand, how are you? Please, my name. That's it, no more. But I don't speak Spanish at all. And lots of conversations have in the Spanish language too. But this is don't matter for the U.S. government. It don't matter. If I represent the room, it's so you're something
Right.
hearing. Yeah, and
So basically, you were in a room with 3 other DEA agents who were working undercover. Did I get that correct?
this is correct.
That's correct.
And okay, so it's just you with 3 undercover DEA agents, and you never said that you want to take any drugs to the United States. One of the DEA agents said that while you were in the room to set you up. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's not says. You must understand. He's dropping 3 words in the time 10 months period, and not attention for something United States is not. Some
Yeah.
success dropping word. Sometimes it's with 3 agents, sometimes with 2 agents. I don't speak. I only give That's it. That's what, because I don't understand what these people talking about. I don't understand. And only says dropping 3 words. And one word he's saying Delta. What does it mean, Delta? You don't know, but Delta does mean United States American Airlines company who fly from
Right.
the Accra to the La. Second word was America. What America? South, North, Central America? Nobody understood. And this is not concentrate to the what he's wanted. And second word, his was United States. That's it. Dropping. Don't discuss about not one. If you see all his evidence what is illegally recording in the territory of Ukraine and
Right.
Liberia is only says can you transport diplomatic mail, not illegal. Legally stuff with you, yes, with you. Is possible, yeah, I can transport it, yeah, it's no problem. And never says no one drugs, sometimes to make a merchandise, but you must understand, we don't talk about diplomatic mail. It's very, very short period, very small. We are discussing about aircraft for sale to me, Antonov 12, Russian aircraft, what is basing in the Monrovia, Liberia. This is why I fly to the Liberia, not for somebody discuss for somebody else.
Also, Richard, I apologize for interrupting you, Konstantin, but also let me make something very clear here, because I've read a lot of US articles, mainstream news articles, that just like the one you just read, that is completely fabricated in the sense of this. Even under the US indictment of Konstantin Yaroshenko, they accused him, the accusations are, to transport $100 million, or I think it was a ton of cocaine, from South America. They were conspiring to transport. Okay, there wasn't even any transportation. They were conspiring to transport a ton of cocaine from South America to Liberia. None of it was to enter into the United States. None of it. All of that is manufactured on behalf of one of the agents. And this is what they don't put out there. One of the agents in the room, in the background, when Konstantin didn't speak a lick of English, said to another agent, and this is how they manufactured the jurisdiction. This is how they were able to get legal jurisdiction over Konstantin Yaroshenko, because otherwise the Americans have no legal jurisdiction to do this. And they did it in the Victor Bout case. They did it in the Mansour Al-Qassar case. And I'll explain this to you because I've helped all these individuals out while they were in federal prison. But how they did with Konstantin Yaroshenko was there was a guy in the background. Out of the 4 people in that room, 3 were DEA agents, and 1 was Konstantin Yaroshenko. And a guy in the back, in the far back, in a lower voice, said to another agent, "Oh, on my commission of my, I don't know if it was 3 kilos or 6 kilos of cocaine out of a ton of cocaine, I'm going to take mine to New York to sell."
Yeah.
And no, he's on part of not cocaine. My part of my merchandise. You know,
right.
my part of cocaine. No.
I apologize. Yeah. My part of the merchandise, I'm going to take to New York to sell. Well, you know what the courts decided? How because we fought that, nothing more than going in front of the court, say, well, that doesn't allow you to get jurisdiction over this man. If someone wants to try this man, then, and you have the facts, it should be Liberia. It shouldn't be the United States, because that's where the narcotics were going. But you know what the United States said? I think the judge's name was Radkoff. He said, well, Mr. Yaroshenko understood that some of the cocaine was going. He didn't even confirm, yes, I understand. He said he understood. How does Judge Radkoff, know what's in Mr. Yaroshenko's mind?
Exactly.
It doesn't make any legal sense whatsoever, but that's how they manufacture jurisdiction.
It's quite shocking, really, and again, I'm speechless, because this is so childish and impossible. It sounds too outlandish, but this is very much what happened. Again, Konstantin, just to be clear, what these, like the original plan, or whatever these agents were discussing, it was only between Liberia and South America, right? So nothing ever to do with the United States.
Not. And if you knew, as he's only talked to the Liberia, but must be another somehow transported to the Accra, Ghana, another country, and from the Accra somehow, somewhere, Delta Airlines America, some transport is fantasy merchandise to the United States. This is I think all this is cases craziness. All this, I understood some parts of drugs coming to States. All this is American people, the Secret Services read my mind. He's telepathic or what? And another is this major fundamental issue. Excuse me, is understand about some part and agree, do it. Is so far different, you know.
Right.
Okay, you don't do it. Like if I talk, yes, I agree, do it. Is one story. But if I understood, yeah, maybe yes, maybe no. Who knew? Nobody read my mind.
Right.
If I understood, is not. I'm not in the U.S. In the I not told me. I was agree. Do it. This is transport. And
right. Yeah.
all this is craziness.
So it's like you said, you know, understanding is one thing and agreeing to do something is completely different. And yeah, and something that I wanted to highlight is that this conversation, this took place in Ukraine. Is that correct?
Yeah, the first conversations. A little bit quickly, short story. Don't take your time, alas. In the 2009. I never knew these people, not agents. Somebody called to my phone, so I was in the Guinea, and told me, "Oh, do you want to buy an aircraft mate Antonov 12, Soviet Union made?" Yes, of course, I need to discuss about these conversations, about the price and conditions. And then this name of guy, Paddy McKay, is United Kingdom citizenship, and but this time he's so difficult to understand my English. It's very, very hard. I send him email via something system translator. Please come to Guinea. We want a face-to-face. He fly to the Russia. He's the one. But in the end, we starting first time meeting. It was, if I don't remember, maybe November or December 2009 in the Ukrainian Kiev. Yeah.
Okay, so this discussion, they recorded it, and that's illegal, right? Because in Ukraine, when you record a conversation, you have to inform the person that you are recording them. It's otherwise it's illegal. And they were recording you and the room illegally, basically, right? And so that's number one. And the other thing that I understood is that they were working as American agents in Ukraine without telling the Ukrainian government.
Yes, this is very, very, very correct. Firstly, in the United States laws too. You can probably record me. Probably yes, this is illegal. Record me. But the major issue, you never, if you go into legal procedure, you never use this as recording what is made by the legal.
Yeah, it's not evidence.
Legal process is very, very, very bad issue. But by the Ukrainian law and constitution, this is completely pure illegal sting operations. 6 or 9 IRS operatives coming to the Ukrainian soil, do it secrets like a spy operations, recording. I don't know what he's doing, and he's fly to Ukraine like a tourist, but he's not. I remember all this time game. Louis Million, Zacharyachev, Spouse, Rapaski, and Louis Million, if I don't remember all this guy. It's all coming illegal.
Richard, only a Ukrainian judge can allow recording or videotaping for judicial processes.
Right.
Only that's under their constitution. The Americans said they had gotten that. The United States Department of Justice, they had gotten that. That was shown to be not true. The Ukrainian Minister of Justice wrote an affidavit saying that was never obtained at all.
It's lying.
It just shows you the manipulation of those international norms that they like to claim.
Yeah. Can I just show? I just want to show this document from the Ukrainian government, which is what you're alluding to. So I'm pulling this up on the screen, and if we scroll down, here's the English translation, and they say that I confirm that the competent authorities of Ukraine have not given permission to the Drug Enforcement Administration, so that's the DEA, either in 2009 or in 2010 to conduct an investigation as to the matter involving Konstantin Yaroshenko. The law enforcement authorities of Ukraine have not received any requests and were not notified to the effect that the investigative agencies of the U.S. conducted a special operation in the territory of Ukraine in December 2009 and March 2010. So the Ukrainian government is very clearly saying that we never gave the DEA any permission to do any of this. And, this is it makes it twice as illegal. So they're not only violating Ukrainian laws in terms of the recording and using that in court, but also operating as a foreign law enforcement agency on Ukrainian soil, which is a violation of Ukrainian sovereignty and a whole other host of laws.
And more importantly, the United States Department of Justice and its agents represented to the federal court that they did obtain that permission.
I'm speechless.
Let me say that as an individual defending myself, present a lie to the federal court of that nature. And I can assure you, I would get an additional couple more years on my sentence. I can assure you that.
And a little bit edit another more. I have another document, but only now I don't have it. This is documents, have another documents, you don't have it because I a little bit missing these documents. Was documents of diplomatic note from the Minister of Justice Ukraine to the General Prosecutor of the United States, Eric Holder, with the demand to explain how U.S. operative do sting operation in the Ukrainian soil without permissions. Up to till now, this not without response.
And something else that's another red flag. I've lost count how many violations we've already gone through, but another red flag is that under the Vienna Convention, when a national is arrested by another state, so in your case, you were arrested, you were kidnapped and then processed and charged by the Americans. The Americans have an obligation within 72 hours to notify the Russian embassy or the Russian foreign ministry of your arrest. And especially if you requested it, which you did the moment that they were beating you and they had taken you captive from the first day. And they never did that. And, they also came up with this excuse that the fax machine went to the wrong country. I thought this was a joke, and it's actually real. This is actually real.
Yeah, they have an obligation.
Here it is. Here's the article from Reuters. The United States blames fax for diplomatic gaffe over Russian. So they say that the U.S. has apologized to Russia for failing to give it prompt notice that a Russian citizen, meaning Konstantin Yaroshenko, was in U.S. custody, and blamed the error on an official hitting the wrong fax button, and the notification went to Romania instead of Russia, according to them. So that's what they claim. Very funny. That's funny.
A clear violation of the Geneva Convention. And I can assure you this.
David, excuse me.
Uh-huh.
Just 1 second, I discuss some small part. Даже if have notifications, you maybe don't have this letter. It's like when he's coming like to a Romania embassy, his date is specifically, I remember, 2nd of June, and time was 1400 American, New York local time. And now he's counting 72 hours. I was kidnapping in the 22 because once he have evidence, his supervising agent DA is some guy. And he says, I directed to NSA operatives, this means I ordered going to Yaroshenko hotel and using not pick Yaroshenko up because he don't says arrest. This means he's studying. This is play game. And now counting from 28 May up to the 2nd, don't have 72 hours. Даже more. I was going to the exactly.
There, you were taken on May 28th, and it's well over 72 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, let me make another point here, Richard. On every U.S. citizen that has been arrested in Russia, Trevor Reed, this Whelan gentleman, and the female basketball player, the United States was notified in less than 24 hours. As required by the Geneva Convention. Okay, so one side is following these international instruments of law, but the other side is avoiding them and then pointing the finger that these guys are the bad guys. And as I mentioned to you before, and I want to make this very, very clear on your program. I'm a U.S. citizen. I love the United States. Don't get me wrong with any of this. I have no taste for hypocrisy, and much less for the neoliberals, as well as all of that whole group of individuals. If you're going to have international law, that international law is applied to everyone. Like if you're going to have extraditions, where you can violate extraditions, like they did in my case, or they're doing with Julian Assange, then you better be damn aware once you open that door that other nations are going to do that. Now, I'm not whether for I agree with the Russians going into the Ukraine or not, but I can tell you this: the United States has been doing this. Iraq, Afghanistan, the Europeans, Libya, your country, Syria, and nobody said a damn thing, or very few countries said a damn thing about it. Right. But when you open that door to allow them to do it, why isn't it available to the? That's why this is such a dangerous game that the Americans play, or the United States plays. And then they cry foul if some other country goes that same route. And I mentioned to you another case that was just recent, which was the Chinese case. And the Chinese, you know which one I'm talking about?
Yes, so she's from Huawei, the phone manufacturer.
Huawei, right.
Yes, Huawei,
And under the U.S. command, they requested the extradition of her when she landed into Vancouver, Canada. Okay, you know what the Chinese did? The Chinese instantly arrested, and this is what creates all this nonsense. It's very dangerous, out of the norm or international law sphere. This is what happens when you start playing these games where you allow one country to do it. Well, the other country is going to start doing it. The Chinese arrested two. One was, I think, a Canadian diplomat and a Canadian businessman. They sentenced them to the death penalty. And the Chinese weren't messing around. They were going to give them the death penalty. They made it very clear to the Canadians, we aren't playing games with you. You falsely arrest one of ours, we're going to do the same crap to yours. And this is what international law is supposed to avoid, Richard. And this is what really makes me so angry that they're allowed to get away with it. And again, I'm not anti-American by any means. I love the United States. I have businesses in the United States. I got my education in the United States. The American people are wonderful people. But when you start opening those doors, you better be damn careful when it happens to you.
Yeah, David. Again, copy paste everything you just said, and I feel the same about the UK. You know, as a British citizen, like it's not about the people. It's the people at the top, the elites, this elite
Right.
bubble, and they're all in cahoots. The Labor, Tories, Democrats, Republicans. It's the same. It's the same guys, and they act with such lawlessness, and it's really disgusting how they extraterritorialize the law. So like they did with Konstantin in Liberia, like they're doing with Assange in my country in the UK. It's really it really fosters this international lawlessness with wars, with extraditions. So yeah,
right. No, I 100%. I mean, and that's what they did. I mean, just imagine. If what happened to Konstantin Yaroshenko happened to a U.S. citizen, let's say instead of Liberia, in Senegal, you know what would have happened? You know how much news coverage would have been all over there, and that they violated his rights, they tortured him. Can you imagine what the amount of hysteria that, and rightfully so. But again, when you're allowed to do it, what's to stop those other guys from doing it? Yeah.
And Konstantin, if I could just go back quickly to something in the hotel, it's my understanding that they basically went back to the hotel where they kidnapped you from, the hotel, the Royal Hotel, and they paid your hotel bill with your money, and then took all of your belongings. They stole all of your stuff. Is that correct? Did I understand that right?
Yeah, he's stealing all my stuff, everything. No, something happening is something to provide to the case, but all my stuff, money, watches, dressing, cash money, is some last money, all was stolen. Like as criminal people, guys. Take all my stuff, my money, everything. It's unbelievable how dirty these people.
Yeah, and can I ask you, which prisons were you in? Because my understanding is that you came to the United States. The first place that they put you in after kidnapping you was Metropolitan Correctional Center, so MCC in New York. Where did they take you after that?
To FCI Fort Dix. As New Jersey.
Okay, and when you were with Mendoza for 4.5 years, because Mendoza was moved around, David, you were in a bunch of prisons, right? I lost count.
I got into federal prison prior to Konstantin. I was at the medium high in Colorado, and they were pushing me around because they were trying to attempt to keep me away from making my legal argument. So that's why they were bumping me around to different prisons. They finally landed me in Fort Dix when they promised me, because my mom was passing away on pancreatic cancer. And they promised me that I would be heading to Portland. There's a prison in Oregon called Sheridan, and it was a medium at that time. And so, but what they did was they literally sent me to the other side of the United States, and they did that on purpose. But fortunately, I was able to meet people like Konstantin Yaroshenko. We became very good friends. I spent literally thousands and thousands of hours on his case, understanding it, understanding the wrongs that were done to him. And during that process, I was understanding my case and battling the United States with my case. So yeah, that's where Konstantin and I became friends.
And what kind of, how were you treated in prison, Konstantin? Because I asked the same question to David, and he told me all sorts of stories. How would you describe your treatment in the U.S. prison system? Humane, adequate, average, terrible? Because I'm asking this, it's a reasonable question because they tortured you. They literally tortured you and kidnapped you. So how did they treat you once you were in the U.S.?
It's very bad. I was in Fort Dix, then later I transferred to the FCI Jamboree, where I was swapping to coming to Russia. I spent since 2008 to 18. I was in the FCI Jamboree. It treated me like a very, very inhumane. I tell you one interesting story. United States government blaming all around the world, like human rights, prisons rights, it's lots of all this. nonsense. But in the reality is, if you just now going to see how it looks inside, like what is my last 4 years in the FCI Denver, trust me, it's like unbelievable. In the 21st century, building FCI Denver made it in 39, coming in the first inmates in the 40. No was changing, only like tripling populations. Is very inhumane. Like if I do have camera, show how he's treat the people is unbelievable. And from 80 to 100 people, small rooms with the metal, like a bunk, with, I don't know how to correct English word, small mattress without the pillow. You must be sleeping.
Really?
You must be seats. Don't have medical care. Food is like a very, and only for the 100 people, 4 toilet, but must be known, 1 toilet for the 10 people. It's like a normal standard row where his people must be how to sleeping, only 6 sink. Where you take a brush is very, very dirty, inhumane, and food. And first of all, in the Russia, you can't receive from the street medications, from the street food. This is in the United States system, you can do it. It's like blood business or life business, take money, buy what is government provide for you. What I needed for my health, lots of pills, lot of medical care about me. Nobody treat me at all. If I just now show my mouth, I don't want like a people shock. If I just now I talk how much I was sickness, it's maybe treat me like animals. I don't know, there's more animals. I don't know how to treat me.
Can I share a story that Konstantin should probably remember this story about him? When we were at FCI Fort Dix, at that federal correctional institution, I was helping Konstantin quite a bit with his legal matters, but we had to be very, very careful because they were keeping a close eye on me and they knew I was helping him out. They took him to the hole. The hole is solitary confinement for absolutely nothing. And I'm telling you this, and he's there.
I remember this, yeah.
They took him to the hole for absolutely nothing. And they took all of his legal stuff, all of his stuff, and they correlated that I was helping him while he was in federal prison there. I was writing motions for him and writing diplomatic communication to his to help him out, to try to make a wrong a right. Well, they called me into the head, what they call it, the CSI or the
no, in this time his warden, his Zickenfuss and Captain Fitzgerald.
Right. Okay. Well, they called me into their office, the warden and the captain, and they drilled me. And in the end, they finally said, "Why are you helping this guy out?" And I looked at him and I said, "What was that again?" He goes, "Well, why are you helping this guy out?" And I said, let me give you just a kind of response to that I think you guys will understand. I said, if you were to see a child drowning in a river, would you ask their nationality or would you jump in and save that child?
Right.
And they both kind of looked at me with these dumbfounded looks on their face and they didn't quite understand. I said, this guy has, every fact of the law has been violated with this guy. I mean, somebody's got to help him out. And basically that was the response. They ended up, they gave me a fair warning. They said, if we catch you doing anything for the guy, you're done. Meaning they were going to send me to another institution of a worse level institution. And that's when I told Konstantin, we need to be careful about how we communicate.
But I added some small part. I remember this time I was going to the hall for, I think for the 2 or 3 weeks. Then later Russian government, including I think the Foreign Minister sent note of protest because officially I speak with the warden Fitzgerald. I talked to her why I am in this shoe. She's told me, I remember this word, because I talking about United States. I said, this is democracy. I can talk about living conditions. Then this is about where I spent. I don't think maybe 3 weeks or 1 month I spent in the show about for my speech. the Russian Federation.
The shoe is short for segregation housing unit.
Yeah, I mean, just to be absolutely clear, they basically punished you with solitary confinement because you were working with David to talk about the conditions that you're in, or
no, we did David. Plus, I speak with my family, to the Russian journalists. He sent me questions.
Okay.
Right, because David, you said you were writing diplomatic things to the Russians, so I got a little confused there. But
right.
Yeah,
but that's the information they found after they dug through his paperwork.
Wow. And after out of the shoe, lots of paper missing up to till now. I returned back. If you, David, you remember, you then later continue writing for me later, we finding all my stuff.
Right.
He's returned me only half, and all my paperwork where David writing some letters, all missing.
But what initiated it, Richard, was him talking over the telephone, and this will relate to Julian Assange. For Konstantin talking over the telephone to his family members and reporters, basically complaining about the conditions.
Yeah.
And you can correlate this very closely to what's going to happen to Julian and go into a CMU.
CMU. Yeah. Yep. They will shut him up, and of course, yeah. I mean, even with special administrative measures, they basically, my understanding, and I remember this because I was in the court, and the U.S. prosecutors were like, "There's nothing wrong with SAMs. These are great things. There's arts and crafts, and you can there's a point system, and you can talk to each other. Apparently, you have to scream so the other guys can hear you through the wall." And they were saying, when this is funny because I think you were both in MCC, and the warden from MCC, Maureen Baird, she came and testified, and because she knows about the prison and she knows about the people in SAMS, and she talked about how horrific it is and isolating, and basically, I guess what I'm trying to say, and of course I'm preaching to the choir. You guys know this better than me. There's a whole wide array of options that they can use to screw with you and cut you off and punish you. So,
well, he just gave you an example, a very simple example of one.
Yeah,
and it, under federal law, you can assist another inmate with their legal work, but you cannot charge for it under the federal prison rules. I never charged anybody a penny, and I probably helped, Konstantin will tell you, probably 500, 600 people and attempted to reduce their sentences. But they didn't like that. They didn't like that for one bit, and that's why they wanted to push me into these other institutions and isolate me out of general population, as they say.
Yeah, because they don't want you helping people out. And Konstantin, can I ask you, what kind of consular services or help or assistance did the Russian embassy provide you with? Did you speak to them often? Did they come to visit you? And I ask this because with David, I know that he had a few encounters with the with the Spanish consulate that weren't exactly very pleasant.
No, Russian government, Russian embassy, Russian general consulate. Yeah, I have all the time. I was in the contact all the time. He's helped me a lot. And in the last, and not only from the Russian diplomats, from the Russian Foreign Ministry too. I was contact, and it's helped me a lot. But try to prevent, the U.S. government try to prevent this as maximum he can. Sometimes cut my phone, sometimes don't bring me, diplomats visit me is many times, but Russian Federation all the time complain. We send a note anytime to protest, but he's tried to disconnect me with my government, but I still is in contact with the Russian government, with the embassy, and with the general consulate in the beginning. But in the last time, I contact all the time with the my embassy ambassador is Antonov, and some another diplomats. I contact all the time, and embassy call me, help me. Some what maximum he can, newspaper, some what I want, what is probably made for me, help me a lot.
Yeah, I saw from the very beginning the Russian foreign ministry were immediately outraged at what happened. They immediately understood that this was illegal. And how long have these negotiations been going on to exchange you with Trevor Reed? Were you aware of the negotiations, or they just showed up to you this week and said you're free?
Yeah, like this is what we're flying. What is pick me up in the Tuesday in the morning is pick me up, 28 hours in the handcuff, go to the Portuguese and great military base. We are reloading some guns, some another, I don't know what's happening. Go to Ankara and in only a free like and go to Russian aircraft. That's it. And nobody knew, nobody expect what's happening. Because it's up to now. This is secrets. What's going on?
Really? So even to you, they didn't tell you that you were free?
No. I know. In the
okay.
I expect in the Friday. What is my what is like for me is like a surprise. I don't expect this situations right now between Russian federations and all Western world blaming Russian Federation for some aggressions. I see American propaganda machine. I listen tonight on BBC. I telling you, and plus I see telling you is pure lie propaganda machine. Anytime I call to the Russian Federation to my wife, please give me Russian news. What was happening in reality? But and I know this situation is very tough for the Russian. All Western world. Like Anglo-Saxon, United States try to blame what is in the Slavic country. We will do it. It's no matter. I think it's done. I must be this all my sentence. But before I knew something, top U.S. not government people like senators or something like this. Yaroshenko sees and must be seized for the end. What he says, and I request 3 times 30 transfers was denied for no reasons. About my medical conditions, I have like a big issue. I have health sentence, and not violence crime. I have all must be permitted, but U.S. government, I don't know what's happening, is denying my transfers. And for me, this time when I think we're starting, Russia made an operation in Ukraine for the deunification, Ukrainian take fascism out from this country, and I think it's done. I must be seized or must be dead in the U.S. jail because my health conditions is very, very worse, very bad. Due to his last I was in the Danbury is don't have medical care normally at all. But isn't there something miracle in the Orthodox Eastern? I called to my wife and she says me this is like unbelievable news.
Yeah.
I return back to home and I think I feeling it's up to them because I knew when I fly aircraft, your Secret Service is around me with the guns and I understand what he says. If some happening problem is because he don't hand me off 28 hours. 28 hours I tortured to the end by the US government, to the end. If you see up to till now, this coming 3 days is still here. Here in my legs, you maybe don't see, it's still here from the handcuffs. It's very, very inhumane. What is the matter? I still come to my motherland alive. It's more important, and my family is wait me, and now I'm enjoy the life with my people, with my country. Is very, very is miracle. I pray all the time to the God. I still alive. I still my country.
Richard, can I interject something here?
Of course, go ahead.
Just something, because I want to make this very. It's important to understand that, in this exchange with Trevor Reed, I have no doubt Trevor Reed was probably mistreated. I have no doubt whatsoever. I have no doubt that his trial may not have been perfect, or may have been an illegal trial. Who knows? But I think it's important to understand that this has occurred on both sides. And I had a discussion with a reporter from Newsweek, and he asked me, basically, if I thought this was a fair deal. And I said to him, well, let me put it to you this way. Konstantin Yaroshenko got a 20-year sentence. Trevor Reed, I think, got a 9 or 10-year sentence. Konstantin Yaroshenko got 12 years in federal prison, has consumed 12 years of his life in federal prison.
Yeah.
For not violence crime. I added it, but for not violence crime.
And Trevor Reed's done about a year in prison or a year and a half in prison. I said, do you think that's a fair exchange? Because he was trying to act as if it wasn't a fair exchange. I said, if anybody got the short end of the stick, it were the Russians.
Yep.
That said, all families, all prisoners that, and this is one of the reasons why the Europeans and Spain required that my extradition have the condition that I serve my sentence in Spain, where my family was at the time. And this is why it's important that if Konstantin Yaroshenko is convicted legally, extradited legally, gone through a due process legally, and given a sentence, then he should be able to serve that sentence near to his family, as Trevor Reed should be able to serve that sentence near to his family.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that we're missing here. It's like, well, these trades aren't really necessary. They shouldn't happen. That's not true. Just quite the contrary, from my point of view.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just wanted to show very briefly the video on the tarmac of the exchange that took place just a few days ago. So the prisoner swap is.
You see the difference on what Trevor Reed has there in all his bags? He's got all his goods, everything.
Yep.
Everything. You see those? He's got a big, large duffel bag, and you see what Konstantin Yaroshenko has?
this tiny thing, and
it shows you the difference.
And I still in the federal clothes. You see, if you see this video, I still in the federal clothes. Don't give me nothing.
Yep.
I still what is give me. What is inmates coming in the federal jail? This like this pants and t-shirts, like a cucaracha t-shirts. I still this is t-shirts. Don't give me nothing. And you see how Russian Federation treat U.S. prisoners.
Yep.
Good aircraft, not handcuffs, like a stewardess, everything good, take his old stuff, everything. I like a terrorist, treat me like a terrorist to the end. Don't give my nothing stuff. It's treat me like animals. It's very, very, for this reason, I'm very angry what he's do to me, U.S. government, to the end.
Yeah.
It's very unacceptable, very unacceptable.
Honestly, that you're putting it mildly. I mean, honestly, when I'm reading everything that's happened to you, and it's like you said, like till the very end, they're still treating you like, some mass murderer or something. It's really, really egregious. And again, Konstantin, I wanted to ask you, why do you think this exchange took place now? Because like you were saying before, at this time, I don't think any of us would have expected that, given the tensions between Russia and the West and Russia and the US. Why do you think it happened now and not maybe 3 months ago? Do you have any suspicion or any gut feeling why that if the exchange happened now?
I don't know. Up to till now, I don't know. I was here and nobody knew up to till now. Nobody knew. I don't know. I don't have idea.
And this is just a video I wanted to play very quickly of you being reunited with your family, and it's very heartwarming. So that's very nice. That's very. And then it cuts to Trevor Reed, who, as we were saying, has a giant duffel bag with all of his stuff compared to you, and that's very heartwarming. That's great. Wow.
Yeah, but I'm so happy. You see, I come to the Russian play. Give me clothes, treat me good, gotta turn back. But this is show what is it U.S. government, how to treat Russian Federation's citizens. I think about me how Russian Federations treat U.S. citizens. This is pure clearness.
Yep.
About the conditions in the jail and in the swap. You will see everything as a proof. What the U.S. government is treat Russian citizens very, very bad.
Konstantin, could I just ask you maybe when did you become a pilot? Why did you decide to become a pilot? And what were you flying commercial flights, cargo? What were you transporting? What were you doing? My uncle is a pilot, so I am inclined to ask.
No, I starting flight for since 18th. Yeah, I go to the college, flight college. I civil pilot. Then I fly in like a transport aircraft, cargo normally, something type of Antonov 32, 26. Then 24. Then later I transport. I open air company in the Guinea. I fly international passenger flights in the Guinea to the Sierra Leone, to the Dakar, like a pilot. Then go to the business. Yeah, this is what all my time. I'm civil pilots. Yeah, that's. Now I like to fly, but my U.S. government broke my health completely to the ground.
And when you were in Liberia at the time of this kidnapping, you were trying to buy a plane. Did I understand that correctly? Someone you wanted to sell you a plane?
Yes. Yeah. No, it's not a try. I buy the fax. I have a contract. I buy from some guy. He's calling Paddy McKay, who was before. He's one of the blood boys. I calling him is one of the director Mercer and Company executive outcome. Then Nelson Mandela closed this company to 2001. This is very bad guy. I tell you, he's in the hand in his blood. He's very bad guy. But U.S. government paid for him $450,000 for my setup. This is coming documents through the case.
Really?
Yes, this was evidence. Yeah, because U.S. government paid $450. Another guy he's calling Spiros Antoniadis is nickname Nabil. For another, these criminal guys have 7 cases in the United States. This for him pay $1.5 million for my setup. This is what's coming through the case too. Another guy for the son of the president of Liberia this time, Sirleaf. He's calling Fumba Sirleaf, director of the NSA Liberia. And he's paying him lots of money too. I think in millions. He's only U.S. government don't pay how much, but I think around $3 million for my setup too, for the fabricate and falsificate the case. And what another little bit taking your time, and maybe David has remembered too. What is it? U.S. justice. What is fundamental doing? Many cases I reading. David reads small like a crazy cases doing. U.S. government using many, using not by the facts, I using try many words like in my case, he's using a lot like a government says, we are believe for something happening, or looks like something did like you looks like a terrorist, or you looks like a drug traffickers, or you looks like a money launderer guys. It's all cases, many cases. This is very this is pattern. I very remember David helped me to send. We are calling is straight letter to my Judge Rakov, and we write to him. Excuse me, Judge. Child believe to the Santa Claus. People believe to the God. Can I have a proof? Because all this is lots of cases is nonsense. You know, like a nonsense. Like in my case, it's all using like a we are believe. We have lots of evidence and proof. Which in the last I have appealed like you're calling Group 33. We are calling prosecutor live for the big issue fundamental. What about recording in the Ukraine? Prosecutor says in the legal documents we have a permission from the Ukrainian government. We have a permit 2 major documents. What just now you're showing, and you know in the end. Prosecutor and DA says, yeah, we are like using another word. We are liar to the court, not for the jury. This is liar too. And you know what's happening? Law court and Supreme Court agree this is nonsense. This is nonsense. Prosecutor liar for the major issue. And what's happening? Court agree this is liar. I think we have with David, we have lots of. With my lawyer, we have lots of huge, like a proof how was this all dirty systems, dirty about my case, lots of international law, fundamental law, constitutions, pact, act, agreements, and not only international, American too. American too. I tell you in the beginning, David knew big issue too. Something have Toscanino law. This is, I must be free because I was kidnapping and torture. What is George have decisions? He's changed, you know, his must be has like a free in the 2010. But George says clearly is not more good law. That's it. Before walking, about me not walking.
They call it a dead letter. He called it a dead letter, Judge Radkoff says. He made his own decision. He went above appellate court law, calling that Toscanino case dead letter, which means the case is not valid anymore. But let me give you a little history about, a little bit about all this. Have you ever heard of Patty McKay? Let me ask you that, Richard. Have you ever heard that name before?
Yeah, since this morning.
Okay. Well, Patty McKay is the European Eric Prince. You know who Eric Prince is?
Yeah, Blackwater, the mercenary company.
Exactly.
Yep.
Patty McKay has been supplying firearms and all through Europe, all through Africa for literally decades. Okay. The United States has utilized him in various undercover, this specific team of agents, Louis Millon and this group. They did it in the Victor Bout case. They did it in the Mansour al-Qassar case, and they did it in the Yaroshenko case. Patty McKay was indicted in Britain, convicted, absentee in Britain. There's actually an extradition order for Patty McKay out right now. You know where Patty McKay resides at right now? In Spain. He lives in Spain. Spain knows he lives here. The British know he lives here. Why isn't that, my question is, why isn't that extradition order or those charges, why aren't those being processed? I can tell you why. The United States doesn't want that can of worms out there, because I can assure you Patty McKay would spill the beans on a lot of illegal activity that he's done with the United States.
Yeah.
You know, everybody knows. I know where Patty McKay lives in Spain. As a matter of fact, I was trying to convince Mr. Yaroshenko, Konstantin, and we might go through this process, but he has a legal contract with Patty McKay. Patty McKay sold him a plane. Then later, once Konstantin went to prison, Patty McKay took that plane and resold it to somebody else under the allowance of the United States government and its DEA agents. So I suggested to Konstantin, well, do what they do. That is, let's sue this guy here in Spain civilly. Try and get your $1 million or $1.5 million or whatever that damn plane is worth, or a replacement plane. So we're contemplating that right now. My suspicion is this video may go viral and he might try to run and hide his assets. Who knows? But either way, the question is, why is he allowed to be running with an extradition order? Why is he allowed to be running free in Spain?
Yeah, they don't.
Why is the Spanish government allowing that?
They didn't show you that mercy, or Assange that mercy. You know, it's they act on it immediately, right?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. I can assure you, there's a reason behind it.
Yeah,
because judicially, even in Spain, they're forced to act on it, but it's all kept under the table. It's all swept under the table, and that's because that person you and I know who she is, Kimberly Weiss, has put the pressure to the Spanish government. Said
a little bit edit, one drop in 1 second. And if my trial, if you remember, David, in the trial, what is attorney to the UMIH, his cross-examinations of the Patty McKay, he's asked me, you have a request for the arrest from the United Kingdom government, and prosecutor talking protest immediately, and don't want to talk about this as, because this United Kingdom want his from 2010 what arrest him, and he's hiding before 2006 he was living in the Malta, then going to the Spain because he's scared going to the United Kingdom must be arrest him for what his actions in the African continent, what he's doing around the world. I don't know, his transport mercenary guns, killing the people. I don't know. This is bloody boy.
But
it's criminals.
Konstantin, just to be clear, because you were talking about how they basically paid all of these people to set you up. What I wanted to understand is in these meetings that took place in Ukraine and the ones that they were recorded and used against you, like we know that the United States has nothing to do with this because they basically manufactured the jurisdiction. But So they were saying that the main deal was to get this merchandise. So basically, which turned out to be cocaine.
No, diplomatic mail with the merchandise. Yeah, sometime what is it? Yes, yeah.
Right. So that was going to be from a South American country to Liberia. Is that correct? Did I understand that?
Yeah. Diplomatic mail can transport, if possible, transport diplomatic mail from the some we don't up to till now is we don't know what this country is.
Okay.
Bolivia, Chile, Venezuela, we don't know. From the continents to the Liberia. That's
right.
it.
And they didn't tell you what it is, just diplomatic mail.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I kept hearing South American country, and I was wondering why isn't it specified? And it's ridiculous that they put you in jail, like sentence you to 20 years, and they won't even tell you what it is. I mean.
And I tell you another very interesting story too in the facts. In the trial, we're coming 4 people. I know one guy has only see him twice, maybe 2 hours. That's it. Have another two guys where I never see in my life before the trial. This is 2 guys says we are drug traffickers. We have ship with the 6 ton cocaine. I don't know. This is 2 guys win the trial. Go home. 2010 or 2011. Go home.
Okay.
But excuse me, like if he's in the conspiracy, he must be all guilty or all not guilty. You know that in the trial, prosecutor, where is finished the trial, jury coming to jury room have decisions. Prosecutor going in the jury room, and another at least one jury, she says, I am not guilty. She says after my convictions. It says in the facts.
How does that work then?
No, I tell you, this is American justice systems. You know, guys.
Something else that stuck out to me is we have all of these witness testimonies of people that saw you being kidnapped and beaten. And is it correct that they did not admit these in court?
Yeah, he's not admit. No, he's like firstly, what I was filing to the court hearing about my illegal bring to the United States and about my torture. Judge Rakov denied this hearing because it's like I says generally, you're still alive. That's it. So your convictions about the drugs. You're still alive. It doesn't matter how bring to the United States. It doesn't matter what you do it about you, U.S. operatives, Secret Services, DA, CIA, NSA, and all of them. It doesn't matter what. You're still alive, and you see convictions. That's it.
So yeah.
Richard, what the judge was kind of defining here was, we don't care how you got here.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't affect the facts of the case. The truth is that he was beaten. And that's, you don't have to believe me or him or the agents. The agents made a representation to the court that he wasn't. Independently, it was established that he was by people who had no skin in the game, as they say. So I was trying to tell you this before, there's a case out there that's a very, very dangerous case that gives precedent to all of this nonsense, these renditions. It's called Alvarez Machain. And I think I've mentioned this case to you before. It's the Supreme Court basically allows the kidnapping of foreigners. And the rationale is, in this Alvarez Machain case, is that if the extradition or the international agreement does not specifically prohibit kidnapping, then who's to say we can't do it? If you read the dissenting opinions, because there was 2 dissenting opinions on that Supreme Court ruling. If you read those dissenters, and I forget who they were, but I read them, and they said, you know what you just did? You just opened up a huge case of worms now, because what you are allowing the U.S. government to do, other nations may take heed to that position.
Yeah, and the logic is absurd also. It's like if there's nothing precluding us from doing it, then it's permissible. That means they can do anything they like as long as there's no law. I'm stunned by this.
But I would recommend any attorney watching this program, they'll know it. Alvarez Machain. That's the case that allows these agents to go around the world and rendition who they want.
Yeah, I'm pulling up the case very quickly, but I think this is the one, right? United States versus Alvarez Machin, 1992.
That's it. That's correct.
Yeah.
He was a doctor that was kidnapped out of Mexico and extracted to the Ninth Circuit, actually California. It's the Ninth Circuit. He won in the appellate court. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals said, no, you can't do this. You took this guy out of Mexico without any legal procedures. The Supreme Court overruled that in the end. And under a very, very, very dangerous concept. But just basically, if you read the opinion, it says if the extradition order does not prohibit it, then who can tell us not to do it? Well, the extradition order also says, probably doesn't say you can mass kill people, but there's a due process that's applied in constitutions, and they're specific in constitutions, and there's a due process implied in what's called extradition orders or extradition instruments. And like I said, if the shoe was on the other foot, how would they react? How would the United States react?
Yeah, absolutely. And I just wanted to talk about this letter because, or maybe David, you could introduce the letter. It might be a little long for me to read it, but I will certainly publish it. Could you tell us what this letter is about, who it's from, and what it's got to do with Yaroshenko and Reed?
I have to be very careful with this, and I'm going to tell you right now because, and I want to make a point of this. I am not going against one country or favoring another country. When you talk about human rights, I'm for human rights for everybody,
right?
Not selective people. That means those in Syria, that means those in Yemen, that means those in Libya. I'm for human rights for everyone, not selectively. So that said, the Yaroshenkos, when Konstantin was in prison, his daughter contacted me and said, we just got a letter from the Reeds, meaning Trevor's mom and father, and they want us to do right or come to some sort of agreement. Can you help us construct a letter in response? And I said, yes, I will do that. But I have to be very careful because I don't want the Americans or the United States government to start targeting me as being some initiator. I'm not that. And so, the Reeds wanted their child back. They were bleeding like a mother was bleeding for her child. And I fully understand that. I saw how my mother suffered while I was in federal prison. I saw how Konstantin's mother suffered and died while he was in federal prison. I saw how his daughter, I think, was 14 at the time, and now she's 26. He lost all his daughter lost her father for 12 years. His wife too. All these families suffer equally.
Yeah.
And so, when the Reeds sent the letter, I don't know if you got the copy of the Reeds letter. I think that's important for you to get if you haven't got a copy of the Reeds letter. Not the letter we responded to the Reeds, but the letter that she sent, the mom sent to the Yaroshenkos. But it basically was saying that we would like you to make a statement saying that we want Trevor back and you want Konstantin back, and it's been unfair, the process that Trevor got. And the response was this, was Russian mothers love their children as much as American mothers love their children. Your child was in prison or has been in prison at that time for like 6 months. My husband was in prison or not my husband, but in the letter that was responding, she said, my husband was in prison, has been in prison at that point for 11 years.
Yep.
Nobody shedded any tears over him. Nobody shedded any tears that he was kidnapped. Nobody shedded anything. Now, all of a sudden, when your child, and nobody's to say the difference, that he was not duly processed correctly, that he had a sham trial. I'm not going to get into that.
Yep.
Very well could have. Very well could have. But why is one pain more valuable than the other pain? Don't we all bleed together? Don't we all cry together? Don't we? I mean, it's about time we start looking at the world as a world and not unipolar. That's one of the problems with the United States judiciary. they believe they're running the show.
Yep.
And to a certain point, they are running the show. But I think that's starting to give a little kickback now, because there's a saying, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And I think you can read the letter. I have no issues with you reading the letter, but feel free to do it. I mean,
yeah, it's very nice, and I wanted to highlight it because it's basically, forget about the political differences. It's nothing to do with that. It's more about the shared humanity, like, having a family member who's incarcerated and missing them and having them basically plucked out of your life, and that no matter whether you're Russian or you're American, it impacts you just the same. And this is the very essence of the letter. And I think it's a bit long for me to read it here, but I will certainly publish it and make a video about it separately. But it's really heartwarming, and I think it certainly needs to be out there to underscore that this is not just, it's Russia and the U.S. Like, no, it's human beings that are being reunited with their families. And I showed the videos just earlier now, and it's very heartwarming, and that should be underscored, because there's a lot of suffering going on, and it's not just for whether it's Trevor or Konstantin, it's also their families, right? Like, their families are also suffering from that. And the same with when you were taken away. The whole point with your extradition is that you serve your sentence in Spain, so you can be close to your family, and they violated that. They ruined the whole thing, right?
It was to keep the family unity together.
Yeah.
At that time, I had two very young boys. One was a year and a half, and the other one was just born, literally. Konstantin knows. I went through a very, very difficult divorce while I was in prison. And I understood it. I don't hold anything against it. But people say, well, you made the decision to do what you did, and you got yourself into that jam. Yeah. But why aren't they held liable for following the law? The law said I should have been back in Spain, and my family should have been at least unified. And they destroyed it.
Yeah. It's really heartbreaking. And I remember that you wanted to be closer to your family, and they basically screwed you for trying to have a prison transfer. They send you even further away. It's obscene. And Konstantin, I just wanted to ask you, are there any other things in your case, injustices, irregularities, plain illegal things that I forgot to mention or forgot to highlight? Maybe some things that you wanted to point out with your case?
Oh, he's have a lot, and we have now. I don't want to discuss. I know just now to prepare completely, but major issue we discuss how his manufacture, falsificate, liars, manipulate, and proof. We have you today only see maybe 1%, maybe 2-3-4%, but David knew a lot how we have a lot of proof about what is US government do about me. But I try to just a little bit to prepare. Maybe next time I prepare when I coming 3 days ago to the home. I'm not ready to speak.
Yeah.
And I still only out of the stress. I think later next time I must be ready to show all proof completely by the documents, by the facts. I so happy world must be new. What is and was it, and was U.S. government do it outside or around the world? This is next time I show you everything.
Yeah, there's a lot to take in, and I think we just scratched the surface in terms of what they did to you. And again, with your case, what astonished me is, no matter how you look at it, whether it's Liberian law or it's U.S. law or international law, or Ukrainian law, they violated every jurisdiction that you can think of.
Yes,
it's crazy.
Yes, it is. It is his violence. We have a proof, everything, but I was in the jail 12 years for doing nothing wrong. Anytime I took anyone, if I do something wrong, it don't matter where it's in the Russia or in some another country, I must be sit quiet. I don't know nothing wrong. Anytime I following any rule and law, wherever I was been, or to Russia, or Africa, or Middle East, or Europe, it no matter. Any country, I must be to respect the law, rule and law and constitution of this country. For this reason, I so angry what is U.S. government do it for me for no reasons. I take my 12 years of my life, take 12 years from my daughter, from my wife life, we must be together. Take real life from my mother. This is for me so hurt, for I do nothing wrong. Yeah, but now I still in the home. I hope alive. I'm very lucky I alive, not dead. And
Yep.
I try to enjoy the life.
Yeah, it's good to see you back in good spirits, and I just wanted to say in the comments, a lot of people were saying that please tell Konstantin we've been praying for him in Russia all of these years. There are many good comments right now, and it's too many to read, but a lot of people who say they've been supporting you and thinking of you and praying for you the whole time, not just now. So that's it's very heartwarming. I'm sure.
Yeah. No. This is the truth. Many Russian people, not only my family, not only my government care about me a lot. Normal people send me letters, send me book, and
Wow.
when I just now I come to the Russia, I never expect attentions to me. Some take me the picture. Just now I coming around the street, have smartphones. Some I don't understood that life is changing a lot. At 12 years is a lot. I coming and told me, oh, can we have a pictures with me? Anybody in the street record me too? Many guys just now I take the mask and glasses. Don't must be recognized. People tell me, thank you so much. You're still alive. You're a real patriot. You're still strong to coming true. This is evil time. What I was in the U.S. jail.
Yeah.
And and now is people, Russian people help me psychically, physically. He sent me some magazines, some books, help me a lot too, to support me. And if I knew behind me, my people is Russian people, is I can't, and my friend David has helped me with 4 years, and later every day I call him, not every day, but every week call him, we communicate the matter up to the end. I called him last time, I called him the last week, before maybe 2 days, I called him, we speak with him.
Wow. Yeah.
And he told me, be strong, we will be good, and anybody got his favorite, I just now I pray to the God, pray to my government, to pray to my president, pray to my minister of foreign ministry. I was here and pray to my people, to my family, pray to my friend, to her family, pray for you too, because you're still good. I pray for anyone.
Yeah, you're very kind, Konstantin, and again, lots of nice comments right now. Some of them are in Russian. Unfortunately, I can't read them, but people are saying we love you and God bless the Russian people, and many comments. I'm sure we can show them to you afterwards because it's too many for me to read. But it's good to see you back in with your family and in good spirits, and I'm really grateful that you took the time to come on, because I can only imagine you're exhausted, very tired from the whole the whole debacle and the trip that you just told us, 28 hours in handcuffs. I mean, so I appreciate you coming on and sharing your story with us, and I will be speaking much more about your case, and hope to put out a very long article and detail it even further. And I'm grateful to David also for bringing my attention to your case, so that I could talk about it. Is there anything else you guys wanted to add that I didn't touch on or I forgot about maybe?
No, it's okay. Normally, now it's okay. Yeah, I think it's good. I'm glad to you maybe bring to the all Western world my story, what is real is. I know it's like from the United States government, you have different story. You must be know the true, the true what is reality was, who I am, who I was, what is full real story about me. This is I want to show the world that you United States government dirty my name is so hard. I never touched the drugs in my life. I never trusted nothing illegal, but his lie about me bring to my family, to me, is lots of dirtiness. And now I try to, if you help me to cleaning my name around the international world, trying. But I want in the future, I want to sue US government to the international court. But I know, international court probably American puppets, maybe, But I try to go to represent in the court, in the Gaga Tribunal, United Nations. I try, but I know, but I must be shown the proof. And more, in the Russia have criminal case against all 22 US operatives who kidnapped me, torture me. I want to be prosecuted in the Russian Federation. I try to completely prosecute. This is all who do it. Do it for me. This is criminal activity against me. Brutally torture, violate lots of international fundamental international human rights conventions against torture, inhumanity, some other conventions, and violate lots of Russian, Ukrainian, Liberian law. Trust me, this is government is very criminals, very criminals. I want to clean my name and bring U.S. government to the international court, if possible. I try to do it everything for the cleaning my name.
Well, you have a very solid case, to say the least, and I think we're all wishing you luck with that. And I think it's very important you mentioned this because I remember there are European citizens, Spanish, German, Italian, who were also kidnapped and tortured by the Americans for other reasons, for being suspected terrorists. They're innocent, but those governments in Europe, they initially wanted to prosecute the CIA agents, and then because of the pressure from Washington, they dropped the cases, which is really disgusting because they're basically telling the Americans, it's okay if you come to torture our citizens, we're not going to do anything to you. So it's refreshing to hear that the Russians, they do take it seriously, and they keep this open, because the way you were treated it's not just Konstantin Yaroshenko says that he was tortured. No. I have the documents in front of me. Several people saw you being kidnapped and beaten and taken to be tortured. So, I mean, this is more evidence than most people have. And it's good that your government actually cares about you, because many European governments don't care about their citizens.
Yes, this is I'm so proud for my government. For Russian federations, he's do it yesterday. I give something interview who I am. I'm normal, regular. I know something like a famous guy. A normal citizenship, like a millions in the Russian federations. A normal pilot, normal guy, and government treat me like I never see his U.S. government treat his own citizenship. European government is the same. Telling you is. I'm very proud for my government. I'm very proud.
Yep. David, is there anything else you wanted to add? You were laughing when I said that European countries don't care about their own citizens. I think
I'm a perfect case of that. I had to take them to court to force them to act on my behalf.
Yep.
But just one small thing. Maybe you can reach out. I'm not for one side or the other side. I know Konstantin's case because I lived with him for 4.5 years. I love him like a brother. He is my brother. I don't know Trevor Reed, but it might be if their family are willing to put him and his side of his story on your program, it would be nice just to show the humanity of all this, the necessity for there to be honesty in the law. Not to be kidnapping individuals, people to have a due process, a fair trial, an honest trial, not a sham trial, not the I shouldn't say that, not the stuff that they're doing to Julian Assange. It just there needs. I mean, we need to be an honest society at some point. You know, you got these clowns running like Pompeo, Condoleezza Rice, this Newland lady.
Oh boy.
These guys are destroying our society as
Yep.
who we are as human beings for personal gain to a certain extent. These assistant U.S. attorneys who stay there no matter which president is coming back and forth. Those assistant U.S. attorneys are there to the end of their lives. The federal judges are the same. They're corrupting the system that should not be corrupt. Our founding fathers in the United States would be disgusted if they saw what's going on there. You know, I watched one of your earlier programs about now they're developing, I think Biden's putting together an honest police of some sort.
Yeah. Yeah.
I shake my head and I go, what the F is going on in the United States? This is not our Constitution. This is not who we are as a people.
Nope. It's it goes against everything that you know they call Western values, right, or American values.
Right.
They do the complete opposite in the UK and the US.
Exactly, and so I appreciate you bringing this to the attention of the people. And like I said, I'm not for one side or the other side. It would be refreshing to have Trevor Reed on your program and ask him how he was treated. And he probably was treated badly. Ask him how his court trial was. I don't have any doubt his court trial probably wasn't a good one, but I can assure you, I do know Konstantin Yaroshenko's court trial was a sham.
Yeah.
It was an absolute sham. And they know it. I know it. And I hope we're going to be able to take it a few steps up so some international courts know it.
Yeah, your case is now, it was taken by the UN, and they only take 1% of cases presented to them. So really, when it's a serious case, and they did that with yours, and hopefully there's a good outcome there, and also that something of the same caliber happens to Konstantin's case, because this needs to be given a lot of attention. And regarding Trevor Reed, there's an open invitation for him or his family to come on the show. Again, this is a good moment for both of them to you know, for each family, Yaroshenkos and Reeds, to have their husband, their son back, you know, and so there's an open invitation for them to come on. I'd be more than happy to give them the platform and speak about everything, and you know, again, highlight the humanity of it. I think that's really important, because right now they want to polarize everything. Oh, it's the Russians. Oh, it's the Americans.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. I fully agree with you. And I do appreciate you taking the time to go through and speak with Konstantin and going through all these documents. I really do, because there's not very many. Like I said, I spoke to a guy out of Newsweek who contacted me, in fact, and he, in the end, his editor refused to do any sort of publicity about this. And I'm not quite sure why. You don't see much about this in the mainstream media right now. That might be because there's going to be some future exchanges, I suspect, and they may not want to go too deep into it. I don't know. But what I can tell you is you are a very direct and honest individual, and I appreciate who you are, Richard.
Thank you, David. Likewise, and again, I want to say a special thank you to David Mendoza and Konstantin Yaroshenko, both of you, for coming on the program, for telling your story, for letting me tell your story, and just tell the truth. Really, it's the facts speak for themselves, the documents speak for themselves, and my mom is actually a fan of the show. She's watching right now, and she said to tell you guys that she's wishing you all the best, a happy life with your family, and a bright future to both of you. And same feeling from me, the same for me. And again, thank you so much, guys. I'll just tell the viewers to please share this video with others so they can hear the story. And I'll of course be speaking more about it. And I see we've got about 2,000 people watching, so please make sure you've hit the like button, because when you do that, the video will be promoted, more people will see it and hear the story. So again, thank you, David, and thank you, Konstantin. I really appreciate your time so much.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you. God bless you too. Take care, guys, and we'll talk later.
Okay. Thanks, Richard.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.